Hey gamer friends, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Josiah, and we are ready to roll. Today, we have a special guest again, Talon.
Hi.
Thanks for being on the channel today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. And we are going to be talking about different types of players that play D&D or other RPGs, but mostly D&D because that's what we play.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about what the DMG, the Dungeon Master's Guide for 2024, says about players. There are 8 different types of players that it says. The Actor, the Explorer, the Fighter, the Instigator, the Optimizer, the Problem Solver, the Storyteller, and the Socializer. That's a lot. We're going to break it down.
Yeah. I mean, the first one's the Actor. That's going to be people who just love the role play, interacting with the story, more specifically like their backstory.
Yes.
They're the writers, the theater kids who want to, I want to be a part of it.
Yes.
Let me insert my creativity into that story.
Yeah, these are the people who want to really express themselves through their character.
Yeah.
And I love playing with these kinds of players. It's really fun to not only just kind of watch them do their thing, but also interact with them, and it kind of brings the actor out of me a little bit too. Yeah.
Especially if you can get one in a party, that in a more reserved party, they can liven up the whole group.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, and then next is the Explorer, and these are people who are these are the people who will leave no stone unturned in the campaign. They are the ones that want to explore every city, every dungeon. They are driven by their curiosity and desire to uncover things about the story in a campaign. Have you played with somebody like this?
I have. They're the ones that no stones unturned. You see a lot in earlier editions where traps were a lot more lethal or unforgiving.
Yeah.
And so they really are just checking every wall. Why is there a drip? What's this? What's going on?
Yeah.
Why is that stair creaky in the inn? It's something else.
Yeah.
They are very keen on the detail, and every piece that you feed them they think is for deeper story purposes.
That's right. Yeah. These are the lore people. These are the people who want to suss out every bit of the lore that's possible to pull out of it.
They're your cartographers, your note takers. They want to know who the Archduke's great-great-grandmother was, why his name is that.
Yeah. So as a DM, these are actually kind of hard people to DM for, because you better be prepared.
Yeah, and they'll call you on it.
They will.
Like, 3-4 sessions ago, you said such and such. And
you're like, and they're like, wait, what was that person's name again? Oh, Steve?
Yeah, flip through 4 pages of notes.
Yeah, and they're like, no, actually, it was Ralph.
Immersion broken.
Yeah. There's some people who I think can maybe take it too far, but for the most part, I think these are fun players to play with. All of these archetypes that we talk about, no one fits them just singularly.
Yeah, I think you've got like 3.
Yeah.
You've got one that's kind of your primary, and then 2 that you're kind of secondary.
Yeah, I would agree with that. For instance, our current DM, Alan, I would put him like primarily in the Explorer category. Yeah. Like that and maybe Fighter.
I would definitely put him with those, and then a little bit of like the min-maxing optimization.
Yeah.
He's definitely enjoys that.
Yeah, because he loves lore and loves finding out as much about the lore as possible, which was cool. And it actually pushed me as a DM when I DM'd for him. It pushed me to be a better DM, and I really appreciated that, actually.
Yeah, they're good to have, because not only are they keeping track, when you need to do a recap, they already know.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've already read the notes and have got it all up here.
Yeah, I leaned on him so much for recapping.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's the next one?
The Instigator. These are I think I kind of fall into this. This is definitely one of my secondary categories. They are the big risk takers. They like to make stuff happen. I want to see stuff going on, especially if it's been a very long session, like a shopping episode, or we're doing a day at the beach, and there's just not a lot going on.
Yeah.
And the role play kind of gets repetitive. I'm like, all right,
let's get some stuff done.
Let's hunt for some sharks. Let's do something.
Yeah.
A great example of this is Rick Tavio. We had jumped down a well and landed in water, and I was like, I've done the math. I'm jumping in the hole.
Yeah.
And broke every bone in his leg, like all his legs shattered.
Yeah.
But it was great. for narrative and story, and
it
pushed the group to do more stuff.
Yeah, and it was a great moment.
Yeah,
in our campaign.
It's a great spot. Yeah,
yeah. So I'm actually currently playing a character who's driven by the Instigator archetype.
Yeah,
Chet.
Yeah,
yes.
100%.
So he is a risk taker, and he's like, let's just go find out.
Yeah,
let's jump in.
Yeah. Well, ask for forgiveness.
What's the worst that can happen, right?
Yeah.
And it's so fun. Like this is not what I would say is like primarily what I'm drawn to, but because the character called for it, I'm kind of stepping into that archetype. Yeah. And it's been so much fun.
Yeah, you get to explore parts of yourself you don't normally get to see in your everyday life, because nobody wants to be an instigator in the real world.
Right.
But you can be the kind of joke punching bag when you're the instigator.
That's right.
You can fall into that trap of like, oh, well, guess that happened.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
It honestly, it provides so many cool memories and moments for a campaign. Yeah. Those are the people who really have those like markers in a campaign where you're like, remember when he did that, or remember when that happened to him?
They set up story beats.
Yeah.
And they really help with that.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, next is the Optimizer or Power Gamer. I don't know that these two are always synonymous, but for the most part, I would put them in the same category.
Yeah.
Optimizer is also, maybe you might have heard min-maxer.
Yeah.
So these are people who are going to like take the science of the math and put the best thing possible on the page.
Yeah. And a lot of times you get the combat min-maxer, but people forget there are role-play min-maxers.
Yes.
Because my better half and I did like a little one-shot where we got brought in as mercenaries, and we wanted to play two old mercenaries. So I was an old Loxodon, she was Tortle, and we were like, what's the biggest jokes as possible? Yeah. So she min-maxed her Tortle to be as fast as possible, as much movement as possible. Okay. And it was a great joke. Yeah. It would be a terrible character, but it was great for the roleplay. Right. And so I think that gets overlooked, but they are one and the same. It's that math maxing.
Yes, absolutely. I think there's a category of, I would say, optimizers. I would almost never say they abuse the game. Right. But there are power gamers that if you get into a certain sect of the power gaming archetype, you can become an abuser. So this is people who are they power game the situations in a game. Yeah, give a mouse a cookie. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so these are the people that they're always upset when something bad happens to their character. They feel like everything should always go perfectly. I haven't really seen too many players fall into that category, but it's there. Yeah, I don't want to say it's something people grow out of, but it's definitely like an early gamer thing, because when I first started, I was a min-maxer. I'm like, the best thing possible. And I've found, as I've gone through, my evolution as a DM and a player, giving your stuff flaws, your character's flaws, is a built-in like caveat to that. Yeah. The second you have a flaw, you've got, something you're self-conscious about, something to grow from. And then if you give yourself role-play, motivation, you all of a sudden have all this stuff baked in. Yeah, it adds depth to your character. It's like a cornerstone that you didn't know you needed. Yeah. And I love it. It's a great way to do it. If you haven't, I highly recommend giving your characters flaws. Yeah. It can be something as silly as, my character can't tell a lie. And don't tell your fellow players that. Right. Let them discover that, and then what a great moment when they're like, why doesn't he ever just lie? Right. I can't. Yeah. It's a great moment. Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that I'm a somewhat of a min-maxer. I'm going to say I'm a reformed min-maxer. Right. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. Reformed. Yeah. Because I still have that in me where I want to build the best, like the most powerful character I can, but I'm starting to now introduce things that make it more interesting to play. Yeah. Well, once you've played 2 or 3 min-max characters, you feel that they're all the same. Yeah. I have my 3 good things I can do, and then once I'm burned out, I've used all that, I'm out. Tapped. That's it. Yeah, tapped. Whereas, like, if you've got a little bit more roleplay focus or some wacky utilitarian stuff, you've got options. Yeah, that's right. Even if they're wacky. So why not? Yeah, absolutely. Moving on from the Optimizer, I'm sure enough has been said about them already. The Fighter or the Slayer, these are like your monster hunters. These are the people who want that crunch, want that combat. And they're okay if it goes 3-4 hours of combat. Right. But that's their fun. No wrong fun. That's right. And if you want to run a game that's, we are street urchins fighting every rat we see,
go for it.
Yeah,
as
if
long
that
as your
works for everybody.
as long as the players know what they're getting into,
Yeah.
that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, these are the players that are we are here for the fighting.
Yeah.
And we want the combat. Bring it on.
Yeah, I ran a campaign that lasted like 2 months, and every week we did Monster of the Week, and they were like witchers.
Yeah.
That just were, today we're gonna hunt this,
Yeah.
and then we did that, and they loved it. And I got to play around with Chimera monster building, and they got to slay some really cool, interesting monsters every week.
Yeah.
They loved it.
Yeah.
As a DM, that's a lot of pressure.
It is. It's a lot of work too.
Yeah. It's
especially if you don't like. Okay, it's one thing to as a DM to, okay, I'm putting together a fight for one big bad guy, but when you have, okay, I've got 12.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of medium bad guys and then 10 like minions.
Yeah.
And I have to manage all of that.
Right.
That's when it gets like
or you have
really difficult.
A bad guy who summons minions.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, there was a guy who's been sitting in the corner that I forgot about, and he's back. And he does the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as a player, I understand. Like, I enjoy combat. It's not my favorite pillar of the game, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's an important pillar.
It is. You have to have it.
It moves story beats and adds depth.
Yeah, that's right. So I actually like these kinds of players as well.
And they're like letting the barbarian do a smash.
Yeah,
that has made their year.
Oh yeah,
they get to do the thing that they want to do, and it makes their kind of lesser stats in like the role play stuff feel not wasted.
Right.
They get to enjoy it.
Yeah, this is one thing that early on in my DMing, when I was DMing for a fighter, like someone who was a fighter archetype, I didn't understand how to best make the game for them.
Yeah.
Or make a fight for them, right? And so I kind of learned as I went along, okay, I need to make sure I let them highlight themselves.
Yeah.
Like, let them have a moment in the spotlight in the fighting area.
Oh, yeah.
And it really improves their gameplay and their fun in the game. And as a DM, that's my job.
Yeah.
Is to make the game fun for the players.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with, like, this combat. This person is highlighted because they're the fighter. The wizard who's a role player can wait a little bit because they're not that interested in the fight anyway. So why do they need the glory?
Yeah. All right. Next up is the Storyteller. And this is someone who really dives into the narrative. They enjoy games where their choices make a lot of impact in the game.
Yeah.
Like, they want to impress upon the game their thumbprint.
Yeah.
And have the story unveil with their imprint on it.
Yeah, they definitely like the action reaction.
Yeah.
Like, I've done this. Oh, the world has reacted, and I'm immersed because I'm imparting something's happening.
Yeah. I would say also, yeah, that's a great way to put it. They are very good at immersing in the story. As long as the DM allows them to do that and accommodates that. And so, yeah, these players can really make a game shine. And as a DM, kind of makes your game a little easier, I would think.
The burden.
Yeah, it does.
They want to add to your world.
That's right.
So letting them add a little something, especially if it's insignificant, is going to distract the party, give you some time to think, and let you breathe while they're building. Yeah, and they can even be like the driving force of your campaign. Yeah. Like they can actually lead to story beats and story paths and arcs that maybe you didn't think about. Oh yeah, if you can like redirect the lightning of a storyteller, they will do all the work for you.
That's right.
Especially if they're the leader of the group and you can just point them generally in the right direction. You're set. They've done all the hard work.
That's right.
They'll do everything for you.
That's right.
And they'll build stuff along the way. See, they're like building the road as they go.
Right.
It's great.
It is. Yeah.
These are usually the DMs that gonna get like, I get to play for the first time in a while.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take over here, kind of, but not really. It can be abused in that way, and I don't think you should do that. I have actually caught myself in the campaign that we're currently doing, needing to kind of pull myself back a little bit from like pushing that I want the narrative to go this way thing, and so it's definitely something when you said that as a DM becoming being able to play that hit home a little bit. So it's something I have to watch out for.
it can be hard.
Yeah.
Because you're used to controlling everything.
Right. That's right.
The next is the problem solver or the thinker. I usually call these my puzzlers.
Yes.
They want the dungeon that has 6 mysteries and a labyrinth.
Yes.
They love, clues and trails and mysteries.
Maze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're, I don't want to say the easiest to placate, but you can drop hints and then bring them back months later, even if you've forgotten about them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's all coming, the grand scheme is coming together.
Right.
And they love it. They are one of my favorites to mess with and feed.
Yeah.
Because they'll keep everything that seems important.
Right.
They can become the pack rats, and you're like, what do you have in your bag again?
Right.
Something that I can use to push this narrative? That. Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, these are really your strategic thinkers. Like, I would put maybe Rob in this category.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's one that really would be able to suss out a puzzle like fairly quickly.
Like he'll find it.
Yeah, and be able to solve it really well. And so it really pushed me as a DM to try and make something that was challenging to him.
Right.
Just because that's the way his brain works. It's just he's very strategic thinking.
And there's the common joke that like a preschooler maze puzzle or like a word search is enough to stop a party for like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
2 experienced party members will blow through that.
Oh yeah.
Lickety split.
Oh yeah.
And the challenge is crafting, because especially if they've ever looked at DMing or puzzles,
right,
you've got to really work to build something that's like grasping and fun.
That's right. And actually, Rob, who is my brother-in-law, he's part of our D&D group. He's actually DMing our next campaign, and he's putting it together now. I'm very excited, actually, for what he's gonna like put in front of us.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it sounds like he's doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
Which is good and scary.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and last is the Socializer or Watcher. Like, so these are typically newer players who are maybe more introverted or extroverted. So it's kind of both ends of the spectrum. Like, so the Socializer is more the extroverted person who's there. They're not there really for the D&D. They're there for the gathering of people and to hang out and have a good time and eat some pizza or whatever. Like, that's what the Socializer is typically there for. The Watcher would maybe be on the other end of that spectrum, the introvert who's there. They're not confident enough to maybe interject themselves a bunch. Yeah. But they love kind of watching it happen.
Mm-hmm. People who are newer to the game tend to fall in one of these 2 categories right away because they're either not super interested in it or they're just not used to the system of role-playing or tabletop. Yeah. And then as you kind of grow, you might put yourself in that situation with like a mute character or somebody who doesn't talk that much or is quiet, or somebody who is hyper talkative if you're not leading that way, which can bring it out of you or make you role-play in a new and fun way.
Yeah. I would say these kinds of players are really, can be really good for your table because they will help the other players bring them into the game and into the hobby of D&D. And if you get a Socializer, it's somebody that will bring out maybe a more introverted or soft-spoken D&D player. If you get them in the right mixture, if you get somebody in the right mixture with the right table, like, it can really make a table shine, a party really come to life.
And a lot of those like more reserved characters, they usually wait and choose their moments, and when they do say something, it's usually a really good story.
Yeah, really impactful.
Yeah, impactful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I really like these kinds of players. And also just because they tend to be a little bit newer players, it's really fun to be able to have somebody who is maybe really just kind of barely getting into it, and you see the sort of excitement that maybe you had a long time ago, but is not, the newness and the freshness isn't there, and so it kind of brings that back. And so
it's a special kind of energy as somebody like becomes immersed in it and realizes their love for D&D or tabletop.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And so love these players. Let's give our sort of primary and maybe 1 or 2 secondaries that we are.
I am probably a storyteller at heart. I love the action reaction, especially if it's something that I've forgotten about in my backstory that gets brought up, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to run that league now. That's on me to make stuff happen. But I love watching the story unfold and get to interact with it.
Yeah.
I used to be a min-maxer, like you said, we're a little bit reformed. But I think I'm a socializer now. I love to bring people like
to it.
Yeah, just like
pull it out of them.
Yeah, like interact with their character, ask them questions, pull them into it, because that's where I find that story is fun.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I'm probably an explorer.
Yeah.
I'm a note taker. I want to know what the map looks like. I like to have everything kind of organized.
Right.
One of my characters, Tombor, is kind of the opposite of that, where he's just been alive so long that he's kind of over it.
Right.
And he's like, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
Which has been a bit of a struggle for me.
Yeah.
Because my notes are unorganized and like slapstick.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
Yeah. I think that's so cool though. Like I'm doing the same thing. So I'm playing a character who's outside of my normal scope of character, and I'm really loving it. It's really pulling a lot of things out of me that I don't normally access or maybe didn't know were there, and things like that. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, it's like personal discovery through a character format.
Yeah, because if you're like me, when you first start playing D&D, you kind of have a pretty narrow niche of characters or character types that you play. And so after you've played for a little bit, you start expanding it a little bit and finding fun in different ways.
Yeah, and like the longer you play, I hate to say the wackier your characters end up being, but like
it tends that way.
It does tend to be that way. And you find crazy new ways to make it fun.
Right.
And I love that. I love that it continues to thrive and that people can really show their creativity and grow themselves in weird and fun unique ways.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that primarily I am an optimizer. I'm trying to tend away from that, as I talked about, but that's probably the biggest driver of D&D archetypes that I have. I would say secondarily, I'm kind of the explorer. So I have that sort of like, I want to find all the sweet things, all the cool things. And then third, I would say that I am a problem solver. Love solving the puzzles and the mazes and the riddles and the things of that nature. So yeah.
When you were in the Crooked Moon, you were like a kid in a candy shop.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm very excited about you and Rob's campaign because I know he's going to set up a bunch of puzzles and Game of Thrones style stuff.
Oh yeah. So that's it. We have talked about the 8 different player types listed in the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide, and we would love to know what your player type is in the comments down below. So let us know, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Bye!